All right, everybody. Hey, hope everybody's had a great week. It's been a very busy week for me. We are live streaming this across a couple platforms tonight here. So if you are joining us on one of those, feel free to say hi. Tonight's special call is on Note 9 to America. We're going to be talking about the lessons learned at FinCon. Now, for those that don't know, I went to New Orleans this past week. FinCon is one of my favorite events to go to, especially in the content creation space and the finance space. All right. Lots of great stuff there. I'll go through that, but I always take back some great nuggets I like to share with my audience on either tactics, tools, ideas that you need to keep in mind as a creator, especially in the real estate investing space. And it was another great event. I walked away with it with a lot of notes, a lot of new connections that I'm glad to be sharing, and in the next couple of weeks, we get rock and roll here. But anyway, make sure if you aren't already joined, if you aren't already following us, make sure you follow us on the Note 9 to America podcast. We've had a Note 9 to America call for basically 13 years straight of some sort, and the Note 9 to America podcast has been around for several years. Thank you for listening to that. And then, of course, the Note Closer Show podcast, which is very happy to celebrate 800 episodes of the Note Closer Show. So you can listen to both of those on anywhere that you listen to podcasts, and encourage you to listen, subscribe, and make sure and leave any comments as well. We'd love to hear from you. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, tonight's all about kind of what I took, my takeaways from FinCon 2023. Took place in New Orleans, Louisiana, this last Wednesday through Saturday. I flew in there Wednesday afternoon and immediately started networking, and actually started networking prior to the event, because the fact is they had the app available on the smartphone. And so I literally started connecting with other real estate investors, real estate experts, and then also start connecting with podcasters and folks in the finance space that I thought would be a great addition and potential collaborations with our audience here at WeCloseNotes.com. So, but anyway, if you don't know what FinCon is where money and media meet. It's been around for over 10 plus years. They meet once a year, and it brings together a ton of great folks in the, like I said, the finance space, who are content creators and experts. You have experts in all sorts of fields. It doesn't matter what the finance niche is. Note investing is a smaller niche there. I was one of two people. I was the only full-time guy investing in notes. So it's kind of interesting. So who attends FinCon? And like I said, they had over 2,500 registrants. You have content creators in the finance space, the investing realm, real estate, credit repair, budgeting, debt reduction, personal finance, mortgage, realtors were there also. And so it was a great group of like-minded individuals who are creating content to share with their audience, to share their message, to get their message out, and going from there. You have a variety of people that teach classes in a variety of things. Other people providing, doing YouTube videos, podcasts. There's just all sorts of niches out there, and a great place to learn and connect with. I absolutely had a ball all 3.5 days that I was there for you. But professionals are leveraging a variety of platforms. This is one of the things I always take away from is any way that I can use to leverage, whether it's Instagram or my podcast or emails or whatever. People are using podcasts to get their network out, which I was pretty excited about, celebrating our 800th episode for the Note Closer Show. They're using long and short form video. Short form video, I mean by using TikTok or YouTube Shorts or Instagram Live or Instagram videos as well. A lot of folks are using newsletters, a variety of newsletters via either like LinkedIn newsletters or an email newsletter out to their audience as well, which is one of the great nuggets I took away from it. That is a couple of things I'll share from later on. Social media, obviously, Facebook, Instagram. A lot of folks are still using Twitter. Nobody's using MySpace, obviously, but there's a whole variety of strategy shared. Some of the best people, and they're people with millions of followers across different platforms. It was always nice to hear what they're doing and see what they're doing and follow. Obviously, people leveraging memberships too, coaching, classes, a lot of freelance folks that are taking their expertise in marketing to bigger brands or niches out there as well. And then also there was a big discussion throughout the weekend of how, and if you should or should not be scared of the machines, of AI, of artificial intelligence. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. And if you have any questions about what I'm going through or what was discussed or anything was brought up there, save your questions at the very end. I'll leave plenty of time for you to ask questions about what's going on here. All right. So give me 1 second here. I'm just gonna will it let me type in some stuff here? Not, maybe not. Comment. Oh yeah, here we go. Let's do at hashtag FinCon. And I'm also trying to see what let me add people. Maybe not. So anyway, going through tonight's stuff here, I really took some time today to put together this presentation for you with some of the better images of it. Now, this is one of the things that's, if you've ever been to New Orleans, this is one thing that you should do at least once. Can anybody know what the heck this is I'm talking about besides coffee? What is these powdered things to the right? All right. Beignets, right? Who doesn't want a good beignet when you go to New Orleans? We flew in, and there's about 10 people from Austin on the flight into this event. And some folks went immediately to Cafe du Monde to get their beignets. I made 2 trips and 2 of the mornings, walked from the hotel over there to have one to pick us up some beignets for ourselves, and then also took a friend who'd never been there from Michigan to Cafe du Monde, where we had a chance to visit and catch up and talk business. But one of the great points of all throughout the weekend, I'm gonna go through this. There's basically 3 or 4 points that kind of underlying themes, and then I'll go through some of the best takeaways that you guys can implement, the things I'll talk about that I'll be implementing into my note business as well. But the first thing is focus on one thing. This is the underlying thing that we heard from speakers and panelists and stuff like that. You can't do everything, all right? If you're going to be doing something new, focus on one thing new. We saw some of the greatest experts that spent, well, you know, I wanted to try to implement everything, but I couldn't. So one year I would implement Instagram. One year I'd implement Twitter. One year I would implement YouTube videos or my podcast. And they take that year to really hone in on their craft with that subject or that niche. And then they add something new after year 2 or the beginning of the year 2, because they've got year 1 down, they've got it on autopilot, okay? And trying to do it all at once will only speed up your failure. It'll speed up your frustration. It's not an great thing to do, but trying to do it all. Pick one thing, stick with it until you've got that down, and move on to something else, okay? Focus on what you do best. All right, if you do a variety of things and you're not good at 3 of them, but you're really good at one of them, focus on that one, your zone of genius, what that might be. All right, if you can focus on your zone of genius, you'll be a lot happier. And if you can delegate the rest, even better. And as I say, master and automate the one thing, one new thing before add something new, okay? And then if you can, focus on 90-day sprints. What's that mean is basically pick 3 months to focus on one thing, and then look back at the end of 90 days, track your views, track your engagement, track your open rates, track your downloads, whatever that thing might be. And then evaluate celebrate the victories, look at your results, and keep moving forward. For those that are joining us, we're going through kind of the biggest nuggets that we took away from FinCon this week. Avoid your weaknesses. Hire a VA, hire a virtual assistant. If you need a VA, let me know. We're glad to recommend. We like to use Riva Global to do a lot of our marketing, our social media, our list scrubbing, our outreach, even editing in a variety of ways. They're phenomenal to work with, okay? If you feel like you're spinning plates, this is one of the things that a lot of folks talked about. One of the great things about FinCon is you get to spend a lot of time one-on-one with folks or in small groups through roundtable meetups or networking events, okay? And one thing I heard from a lot of folks is a lot of people are trying to do all these things and they feel overwhelmed because they do feel like they're the solopreneurs running around spinning plates. And if you feel that way, you are failing, okay? That's really one of the biggest things. If you're spinning plates, you are failing as an entrepreneur. So don't do that. Like I said, hire it, outsource it, find somebody to help out with it, but don't get so bogged down in it, okay? And here's the thing, so many focus, well, what do I have to do? I don't have any more room for that. How am I going to do that specific things in my business? And you need to focus not so much more on the how you're going to do it, but who can you bring aboard? Who can you align yourself with? Who can you outsource? Maybe you collaborate with somebody who's good at one thing that you're not, but you've also got a strength or your zone of genius is in your path, which is not in there. So collaboration was one thing they talked about quite a bit. You got to hold yourself accountable, get your thing done first part of the day. Don't wait till the end of the day. Get it done the first part of each day. That's the only way you're going to succeed long term is if you keep procrastinating today, oh, I'll record that later today, I'll videotape it, I'll write it, I'll send it out, you're not going to do it. And the way that things work these days, you can pre-schedule your social media, your newsletters, your videos, you can batch record and release them to go out later. So that was one of the great things they talked about. Focus on one thing. If you're going to do one thing new, focus on just that one thing for a period of time and then go from there. Okay. Now, of course, after going to New Orleans and having beignets is one of the things. What's another thing that New Orleans is very famous for? Gumbo, baby. And I am a huge gumbo fan. And I ate gumbo with just about every meal I could get to, either whether it's lunch or dinner. I tried to find gumbo or jambalaya, some sort, a cup or a bowl. Heck, even one dinner, I had 2 bowls of gumbo because it was so good in between events. But gumbo is definitely a big thing. And the underlying message of the gumbo is success is a combination of things. Success is a combination of multiple things. Now, this is in opposition of what we just talked about. I'm focusing on one thing. There's a lot of things that are going to make you successful. You're not going to be able to do them all. Okay. Here's the biggest thing. And I left this thing at the bottom down here. While it's okay to imitate, don't be afraid to be your spicy self. All right. A lot of folks are scared to be themselves. We got to be like Gary Vee, or we got to act like somebody else out there. No, your audience, your network knows you. They want you to be liking you. So success is a combination of flavors, just like gumbo. Gumbo is a mixture of a variety of things thrown in the pot. What was left over, little shrimp, little fish, little sausage. Let's throw some okra, some tomatoes in there, whatever. It's a mixture of things. And what the great thing is that the meat aspect of it, whether it's andouille sausage or shrimp or chicken or whatever you have in there, or some oysters. I like oysters in my gumbo. That's your content and knowledge base. That's the underlying thing, that the meatiness of your gumbo, right? That's one of the underlying flavors, is that's your meatiness. Okay. Now, when you throw in some vegetables and okra and some other things, some extra spices, that's your ability to share good things for your audience. Okay. Now, we may not want to be eating raw okra by itself because it's slimy. Nobody wants to eat slimy okra, but it is good for you. You know, that's the thing about it. Your vegetables, eat your vegetables, are good for you. Not necessarily want to, but those are the good things that you share with your audience out there. And of course, the rice, which can be thicker in some gumbos and lighter in the next, that's the systems that hold it all together. That's the binding agent kind of that helps you with your business. That could be your CRM. That's with your email. Maybe it's your social media. Maybe it's your systems as far as due diligence in your outreach to find deal flow, your due diligence aspect, all those systems. That's the rice in the gumbo. Okay. But what's the most important thing we haven't talked about that makes gumbo instead of just a mixture of rice and some stuff? And we want to throw that out there. What is that missing ingredient that gumbo is known for? And often it starts with that when you're making gumbo. And we take a guess, Gander. We don't have any cooks on here tonight talking about gumbo. Well, you always got to start good gumbo with what? Roux. And that is your spice and personality, baby. You are the roux to your gumbo. And that comes back to saying, like, while it's okay to imitate, don't be afraid to be your spicy self. People are attracted to you because of who you are, what you do, what you say, how you act, what you share, your personalities. They're not with you or follow you or listen to you because you're somebody else. I'm not trying to be Joe Rogan. I'm not trying to be, Elon Musk or thing. I'm trying to be Scott Carson, not Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm trying to be Scott Carson. So being the Peter Pedros, the Madison Rodneys, the Dickie Baldwins, the Cynthia Henrys, the John Sherrys, the Joe Bay Arena, the Serby, you have to be yourself. It's okay to be yourself. And I'll talk about how to overcome some stuff later on. But a lot of us, when we're new as entrepreneurs, we're scared we're going to piss somebody off. Well, guess what? You're going to piss somebody off no matter what. You're not always going to be loved. You're not going to be liked. You got to get beyond. And not everybody likes gumbo. That's totally okay. Some people like it spicier. Some like it watery. Some like it no spice at all. But I like it spicy. And that's okay, ladies and gentlemen. Be yourself and make your own batch of gumbo for how you like it, not how somebody else does it. If you like it with a spiciness, make it spicy. If you like a little blah, that's make it blah or blase, where you can add some Tabasco to it. That's totally fine. But success long term, it's going to be a combination of you bringing things together, your systems, the good stuff you share with your audience, your content, and then adding your flavor to it as well. That's the important thing we're talking about tonight is the things that we learned from FinCon this past weekend. If you've never been to FinCon, check it out, finconexpo.com. I'm not paid to do this. I just really enjoyed, I think it's such a strong event for those that come through. All right. So, hey, new beginnings for the best. All right, let's move on here. If you're watching this live on the live stream, I am going through a PowerPoint here on YouTube and Zoom as well at the same time. So you can check it out at notenightinamerica.com. The third thing is that to find success, collaboration is key. All right. It is so key in helping you find long-term success out there. And the great thing is you can't do it all and succeed long-term. We talked about this. Know your zone of genius and find other people. If you want to move quickly, go by yourself. But you want to be around for a long time, you need a team to do it and help you out with it. Okay. And that's the greatest thing I think that FinCon really does is they help you collaborate with individuals, brands, audiences, vendors in your niche. They had so many roundtables, so many meetups for you to meet like-minded people in the real estate space and the option space and the financial, the fire space, the insurance, the real estate space. So many places for you to be able to connect with people. And you have to look at where you're at in your life too, and where you're at in your business and start making a list. Who are brands or audiences that you're connected to? Where are some of the vendors that you use that connect with? I know we got Dickie Baldwin on here tonight. He's definitely a brand and a vendor that we like to align ourselves with and like to promote. So that's one of the things is if you're getting brand new and starting off, look at the different brands, vendors that people are using and see if they have an opportunity to collaborate with your audience or make it a win-win with their audience, okay? But you've got to learn to leverage your network and networking opportunities. And this is one of the things I think that we have really sloughed off on, we being a collective audience with COVID and everything, is people don't always want to go out and network, but we really need to. And it doesn't need to be your local real estate clubs. It could be your BNI networking groups. It can be other social media. You know, I run the Austin Podcasters Association, which I like to network with. Those are things that you need to look at leveraging. And if you're in a rural area, can't make out, then leverage your online networks because there's a variety of those as well. Add value to your network, and by adding value to the audience of that network. It shouldn't be all about you. Like, look at me, look at me, look at me. No, here's something I thought you'd find valuable, something in your niche or our field or something in the news I thought would be valuable for you. And here's the thing. We've all got gaping holes in our different businesses of things that we can't accomplish. But guess what? You probably already know someone who can help you. You probably already are connected or 1 or 2 degree connections away from finding an expert that can help assist you, can partner with you, can collaborate with you to take your business to a whole new level, okay? And don't be afraid to ask for help. Those that are some of the most successful individuals in any niche I know are some of the most giving of their time and willing to help you. Now, if you're reaching out, and one of the things that I love about the fact is that you can connect with me. You always go to talkwithscottcarson.com and book a call with me. It's easy to do that. You're going to get on my schedule. We'll be able to pick up the phone and talk. I'm not afraid to talk with it, but you'd be surprised how many times I get phone calls from people or I'm talking to students and like, yeah, I signed up and took somebody else's class or I signed up for something and they won't respond to any questions or I had to pay extra to get people to talk to them about questions and I'm brand new. I don't know where to begin. And I'm like, oh, that's so frustrating when you're brand new. It's like, I give me something to help me get rocking and rolling. I don't mind paying for value, but if I don't know what I don't know, then what am I paying? I'm just throwing money away instead of knowing where to put it. And when you run into those kind of things, the more you network, the more likely you are to come across somebody or people in your network that you can partner up with who want the same things and are moving in the same direction. All right. If you think about that, you've probably networked with somebody, talked with someone. Hopefully you weren't a fly on the wall and you were a little bit of an extrovert, but you found somebody who's wanting similar things, close the same type of deals, make the same type of money, all that kind of stuff as well. They're looking for keys, to find success. Well, collaborate with people in your like-minded audience to get rocking and rolling. All right. Hey, folks, I see my Nashville Money guys joined. Hey, what's going on? Good to see you tonight. And that's the biggest thing. If you partner up with people who want and are moving the same direction as you are, you'll speed up your success and make some sweet music when it comes to, success. And that's one of the great things about New Orleans is the music. And if you think about jazz is a combination of individual musicians doing their own thing, but they collaborate. When they collaborate enough, it really sounds amazing. It has its own unique sound, right? All right. Oh, and the third thing is new is always strange. Okay, that's the next nugget I want to give with you. I've got a picture here of Marie Laveau's House of Voodoo, right? If you've ever been to New Orleans, you understand the voodoo aspect of it. And what was interesting, one of the biggest nuggets I took away from it is voodoo was practiced by the Haitians. It was brought to the New World from Africa and a variety of different islands that practiced some sort of voodoo. But the first 100 years of New Orleans, it was illegal to be any religion except Catholic. So what did the slaves and the folks that practiced voodoo do? Well, they had to practice Catholicism, but they created, what do you call it? They created, I want to say parents, but they would kind of worship or promote people in the Catholic religion that were very similar to their voodoo religion so that they could get away with it. All right. Yeah, they had Santeria is another version of that. Exactly right. Thanks, Joe. But one of the greatest things too is most people think that voodoo dolls are something that you get when you have an enemy, right? And you stab it. You want to see if I wanted Joe to feel bad, I would get a voodoo, take some hair off of Joe's head, tie it around the voodoo doll, and then I would, if I wanted his knee to hurt, I'd take a pin or a nail and I'd stab it in the knee of the voodoo doll. Well, that's actually completely 100% false. Voodoo dolls have been completely demonized by TV and stuff like that. What voodoo dolls were is if you had something wrong with you, you would go to see the voodoo queen or the voodoo healer, and they'd take some hair and they would make a little voodoo doll and put your hair on it. And then what they would do is they would tie a little knot. If you like had your stomach hurting, they would put a little X on it where your stomach was hurting, and they'd give you some, leaves or some tea to go drink or something to go eat. And then when you come back, they would ask you to come back and talk with them. And like, oh, you pull your voodoo. Oh, yeah, you had a little something wrong with your stomach last time. How's that feeling for you? Oh, yeah, your arm was hurting. How's that feeling? The voodoo dolls with the things pushed was literally to be a reminder, as their note-taking aspect of what was wrong with you in the first place. It's never been a negative thing for you to have a voodoo doll. I found this out, okay? It's actually, voodoo dolls were meant to be a positive thing, whether you had a voodoo doll that was blessed for blessings or for riches or something good to happen. And that was one of the things a lot of people think about. A couple times ago, yeah, Joe is like, whoa now. If I got a voodoo doll with you, Joe, I'm only wishing good things for you, my friend. That is all, okay? But anyway, yeah, when I went to New Orleans a couple of years ago, one of the guys I was at an event, he brought in voodoo dolls for everybody. And we actually had a voodoo queen come in and bless all the dolls for us to have great things, health and health and wealth with these voodoo dolls. So that's the thing is, people often think, and you'll hear this when you see or think about doing something new, it's going to be a little strange. Oh my God, I don't believe that. I don't think it'll work for me. Well, you know what? It is. I'm not here to tell you to practice voodoo. That's not what I'm telling you. Okay. But new things are always strange when it comes down to it. If things aren't working, you got to realize you got to do something else. You got to do something new. If you're not getting the traffic, you're not raising the capital, you're not getting the deal flow, you're not closing deals, not making money, you can't keep doing the same things you were doing a year, 2 years, 3 years ago. It doesn't work that way. You've got to evolve into the 21st century, and you got to do something new. And markets are constantly changing, so you have to adapt. I heard there's this panel of real estate investors up there, and I asked them, I said, well, you guys are focused on fix and flips there. What are you doing for REO sorts? Oh, we're really focused on creating content now. We can't find deals, so we're going to go create content about the deal flows. Are you not doing like subject to deals or creative financing or notes? And they're like, oh, no. Like I said, I was one of the few note guys there. Yeah, we're focused a little subject to, but we're not really fixing, flipping, or buying anything right now. Well, if the market continues to stay where they're at, they're not going to do any deals. And if they're prevalent on making most of their money from their deal flow, they're going to struggle. So you've got to adapt. All right. And here's the thing. Once you start doing something new and you understand the process that goes into doing that something new, you realize there's not really any voodoo magic. Okay. I'm interested in the voodoo that we do while you go do, whatever. People often think, man, Scott, you're doing all these things. You're doing all this great stuff. You must just have this. I'm like, no. We have systems. We do a little bit each day to get better. And a lot of times there's a lot of fine tuning things to get to where we want to be. And here's the thing, another thing to think about. If you're let's look. Anybody been to the mall lately? This is a great analogy for you. And I heard Pace Morby talk about this either yesterday or today. If you've been to a mall lately, there's like a few shops there that are getting business, and there's a lot of those shops at the end of the hallway that are just dead, right? Well, the companies that are still have that retail space at the mall, guess what? They're not getting hardly any. They're getting some traffic, but not getting any traffic. And where do you want to be? If you were operating a business mall, you would want to be the one probably not in the mall that's online selling on eBay or Etsy or other places like that, or Amazon, right? You wouldn't have a physical spot in the mall way down at the end of the hallway that no one's showing up to, where there's no foot traffic, okay? But unfortunately, hey, Brett Allen, good to see you, buddy. There's a lot of folks, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of marketers. They're like that empty store at the mall. They got a sign open, but they're not doing anything new. They show up to work, they clock in, they sit around. They're not getting creative. They're not outreaching to their market. They're not reaching out to investors. They're not reaching out to asset managers. They're not doing any marketing. They're literally that empty, dying store at the mall, and they're dying a slow death, okay? I know that when you first start to share your expertise and knowledge, it can be scary. It can feel really like you're fish out of water. It can be very intimidating and nervous. And of course, people often have a bigger fear of public speaking than death, right? That's normal. But guess what? If you share your expertise and knowledge and you share it and you know it, there's nothing to be scared about. If somebody asks you a question about something and you something in your knowledge base, share it. That's how you get ahead. That's how you share expertise. That's how you grow your zone of genius, expand your network with investors or IRA folks or note sellers, note buyers, real estate fix and flippers, whatever it might be, is sharing your expertise and going from there. And guess what? Everybody starts off nervous and a newbie. Everybody does starts off nervous and a newbie. That's what it comes down to. More than anything else, I can tell you is that everybody's going to start off putting their pants on one leg at a time. Everybody's going to be nervous the first time out, the first presentation, the first pitch, the first email blast. It's going to be scary for a lot of people. Okay. Well, that takes us then, of course, those are our biggest nuggets. Okay. Now, there's a few other things, like there is so much stuff learned at FinCon and people they talked about. It's like literally all the bars in Bourbon Street was something new. I don't have time to go through every bar in Bourbon Street, not only in a night, but not in a year. Okay. Definitely not in an hour, hour and a half here in America. There's a lot of great things. The underlying is that, hey, new is strange, but don't let that stop you from taking action. Collaboration is key, is one of the biggest things. I actually did an episode for the Note Closer Show on Friday, and it turns out the main keynote speaker on Saturday his whole session was on collaboration. Okay. So they intertwined it throughout. I picked up on it, did an episode, and it's already had a couple hundred downloads. So check it out, the Note Closer Show, anywhere that you listen to podcasts out there. But anyway, what I wanted to do is share some of the other things that I took that I'm going to immediately implement into my marketing day in, day out. And I thought these things would be valuable to you guys out there as well. So what are the biggest nuggets I took away? Newsletters are extremely powerful and valuable to audiences still. And here's the thing, you can use them whether you're using like a LinkedIn newsletter, a video newsletter, or you're using a written like an email newsletter. It's important to get that out there and some sort of consistent basis, once a week, once every 2 weeks, or once a month at a minimum. Wouldn't necessarily do it daily, but the more often that you do it, the more you can get away with it if you need to do something outside the box instead of your regular scheduled time. Easiest thing for most folks is a LinkedIn newsletter. You automatically built into a network if you're on LinkedIn already and using that. And here's the thing. If you're using a blog through like a WordPress website or another website, don't use stock photos. They said if you have a longer blog, try to use 6 unique photos to that subject matter. And obviously creating these in Canva are great, but labeling the actual photos something about the episode, okay? That was a big thing in your newsletters, using 6 unique photos that are either unique to your brand or unique to that story that are not just stock photos from somewhere else, okay? Now, if you do have a blog or a WordPress website or a podcast or something like that, and you started to see, like many people, when the Google algorithm starts to change, websites often have increased or decreased traffic. Your older stuff will often start to fade. Well, if you want to reboost your traffic, this was an interesting thing, is by going in and refreshing the blogs a little bit. If they didn't have a video, updating with a video. Republish them for a newer date. Can easily refresh the Google Analytics to get people going back to your website. That was just a genius thing. Changing the publishing date to a new date. or just adding a video or some new images to it can also refresh it as well. Too, tweaking the title, something maybe that's more SEO appropriate for what's going on, can also help as well. Okay. Couple things when sharing YouTube videos, the first 24 hours is the most important, and to share it everywhere. Don't just record a video and throw it on YouTube and then record the same video from your phone and throw it on LinkedIn. It may make more sense if you've got the audience to share that video everywhere, Facebook, LinkedIn with a YouTube link, if that's what you're looking to drive engagement to into your YouTube account, or sending an email blast out to your audience once the video is up and making sure it's getting out where people are going to read it and open your emails and click on that stuff before 24 hours goes by. That was an important nugget for me. Don't be scared of artificial intelligence. It's a great way to create a lot of content quickly, but just taking what AI like Bard or ChatGPT throws out will not work always, because it can often come across as being AI written. It may not sound like you. You have to realize you're still the spice, and to tweak your newsletter content for your message and for your audience. Okay, that's an important thing to keep in mind. Don't be afraid of AI. Use it when you especially hit those walls of what am I going to talk about? What am I going to share? What topics does my audience want to have? Use AI to create a huge list of it. Have them maybe write the first 500-word blog, but then go back in and tweak it, add it, take away from it, and tweak it for your audience and your message. Okay. Here's another thing: you can learn a lot from others in your field who are doing more than you, but also you can learn a lot from those doing less than you. Some people may be better doing less, but they've really got one feature really honed down, how they connecting with people or engaging their audience. So you learn from everybody who's an expertise. But the thing is, simple course of judgments lead to big changes. So we're not talking that you need to spend go from one short video a week to 5 times a day, but going to once a day is better instead of once a week. Send an email out once a week to your audience is better than once a month. So some small changes can make big changes, big results, big differences in your business, no matter what it is. Okay, a little bit extra each day goes a long way. Okay, more big nuggets. I was really surprised that a lot of the batch or the content creators are doing batch recordings. They're spending they're going to do 3 videos in a week. They're going to batch record them all on Monday or Sunday, or they're going to batch record this Monday, but they're going to release an episode Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So they're recording this week for next week. And then they spend Tuesday, Wednesday working on getting those videos out, and then they get them uploaded, edited, thumbnails, and everything perfect. So then when they release them on the next following week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they're rocking and rolling. So they're basically a week ahead. Truly experts out there are answering what their audience wants, not what you think they want to hear. Okay. And you're answering questions that your audience is searching for. And you can use Answer the Public to find out what people are asking for. Questions on videos, TikTok videos, comments as well. You want to see something, Google what you're about to do a video on and see if there's a lot of engagement, a lot of searches for that stuff, and then go out there and tweak it a little bit by changing the SEO searchability. And then you may never know, you may get a lot of comments or questions from people. Those are great topics for content as well to answer as well. If you're going to be creating long form video content specifically for YouTube, make it more than 10 minutes. It used to be 8 minutes, but YouTube's now changed the algorithm when they're looking for stuff that's 10 minutes or longer, because guess what? If it's 10 minutes or longer, they can put a video and ad at the 5-minute mark. So you might as well leverage what YouTube is looking to help them boost your show, boost your video by making it at least 10 minutes longer. Now, everybody I know on here or listening to this can talk for 10 minutes about specific things. It doesn't take that long. All right. You may think it does, but you can all talk for 10 minutes. I guarantee you that. And then also look at what people are recommending as suggested videos for you, for your audience. Share where your audience is at. Where are they at in the journey, or share what social media platforms they're spending their time on. Not everybody's on every social media platform. So if you know your audience avatar, where those people spend the most amount of time, leverage what others have created or are doing. Look at what other people are doing. Look what your peers are doing. I'm not saying steal, but you can definitely draft off on what they're targeting or what videos have done well for them. You can also look at what they've built. There's a lot of Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups out there that are basically dead. They've got thousands of people or hundreds of people in their groups. These groups need leaders, need somebody to step up and provide content to them on a regular basis. Now, yes, it's going to take a period of time, but it's much better to step into a group versus having to start and create one yourself. Or you take over a group, you start adding new people to it and bring the blood back. okay, to it. And like I said, if you take over a group, start connecting with those members, start sharing with those active members individually, reaching out. Hey, what would you like to see? We're taking over the group. What can we do to help you get engaged back in this audience? Okay. Now, some of the things that you're going to see coming to week close notes in the next few weeks, I always make a list of things. And some of those things that I just talked about are things we're implementing, making sure our videos are at least 10 minutes long, and you share stuff within 24 hours, not waiting 24 hours to drive engagement. You're going to see is we're going to connect with a lot of folks. Okay. And why is this thing doing? It's got all kind of wonky here. All right. So you're going to see at least 20 plus interviews, podcast episodes with experts, some definitely experts from FinCon that we know will be valuable to your audience, where you're at, what you're looking on. May not all be on notes, maybe on a little bit on budgeting, maybe on accounting, maybe on marketing and mindset. I'm excited. I've got a great episode this coming Wednesday with Dr. Amanda, who's definitely a money mindset coach. I'm really looking forward. I booked a call with her a couple of weeks ago and really excited about that. You're going to see us talking about some pretty cool AI tools, some video tools as well that we're currently playing around with that are going to be fantastic. That are going to speed up our process and really make things look good, that make you look good as well. But you're also going to see some more master classes. I've listened to what people have asked, and you're going to see some more master classes on specific topics. And we've already started reaching out to collaborate, some folks to collaborate with. Some may even be on here tonight. I don't know if Dickie's on here tonight, but Dickie, definitely, I got your email and some of the things that we're going to be collaborating with here. But buying your first note deal. If you haven't bought a note, we're going to do a master class on just buying your first performing and your first non-performing note. We're going to do 2 master classes, one on each for you. We're going to do a master class on raising capital, how to do it smart and effectively in today's market. We're going to always go back to contacting asset managers. We haven't done one of these, calling bank asset managers. We're going to do that here before the year is out with you, so you can see how that goes. We're excited to have a master class with a couple of folks, some of the best in subject to and creative financing. Really, really excited about that. We're going to do a master class on just exit strategies. Basically what to go through, bringing on a servicing company and talking about some of the different ways that they approach workouts, what gets sent out, what's the process, what does that look like, so you can be more educated when it comes to buying performing or non-performing notes and stuff. And then, of course, anything else you are looking for, we're glad to take suggestions. Any other things that you'd love for us to talk about, I'm always open to hearing from you guys. And if you've got a topic or question you'd love for me to discuss, I'm glad to do an episode on it, whether it's a podcast episode or a Note Night in America episode. I'm glad to share it, or even doing a, LinkedIn Live or YouTube Live about it. I'm glad to do that. And that's one of the great things. I'll also be appearing on probably about 30 other podcasts or YouTube channels here in the next few weeks from folks who have been kind enough to ask me to be on their show to talk about note investing. So we're excited about that. Okay. And you guys, overall, you have to realize entrepreneurship, especially being in the real estate investing space, it's a journey. It's not a race. It is not a sprint. It is a marathon. And once you become a real estate investor, I don't think you ever stop being, unless you just give up. And if you give up after one bad deal or getting started and say it's not for you, you never really were an investor to begin with. Here's another thing to keep in mind. Comparanoia runs rapid all across the world. And it was funny, as I'm sitting here talking to people and people are I've got 100,000 followers, or I got 1 million followers on TikTok, or I got all these subscribers. I'm thinking back, okay, that doesn't mean that those followers are the right audience for what you're trying to get a hold of. And when I was, especially the real estate panel, was asking, well, can you tell me a little bit about your audiences that are sharing their audience? Like, well, that's great, but what does that mean as far as bottom line? Are those people actually listening to you on a regular basis? Because I'd rather take 100 loyal listeners versus 10,000 followers any day. 100 people that show up on a consistent basis versus 100,000 likes or followers on TikTok or Twitter, something like that. I want to talk to folks that are showing up and being there, because that's truly our audience. Okay. And it's the most important thing. We all have audiences, ladies and gentlemen. Every one of us do. Some of us just aren't open for business. And if you're not creating an audience and sharing what you're doing on, guess what? You're out of business. And other people are drafting off of your traffic, your foot traffic, your audio traffic, your social traffic. You've got to share what you're doing and what you want to focus on. So understand and listen to your audience's needs. And sometimes initially your audience is you're going to talk more about what your needs are, obviously, but think about if you put yourself in the shoes of your followers, your audience, what do they need help with? What do they need to answer the question so that when they are ready to fund a deal, it's yes versus I don't know. Okay. Think about what they need to know and what they need to be more comfortable or more educated, and you'll find a lot more loyal listeners than followers. Okay. You're gonna be an investor a long time. Don't be a caveman investor. Don't let history or technology pass you by where you're just sitting around in a caveman waiting to go extinct. Don't do that. We're in the long term here. You have to adapt. You have to evolve. It's always that case of things have always adapted from the beginning of time. Things have gotten better. All right. You've got to learn to adapt to things. It's no longer 2022. It's no longer 1999. Okay. It's 2023, almost 2024. And Scotty's here giving her all she's got to beam you guys in the new century of marketing and real estate investing. Okay. And here's the thing too. I don't think we as entrepreneurs celebrate the small victories as much as we should. Don't be afraid to toot your own horn, ladies and gentlemen, because you need to. If you closed a deal, if you raised capital, or you sold something, or get success with an email blast, share the small victories. One of the things that we like to do with our monthly membership, our WCN membership, which is $97 a month and gives you access to all of our online training and weekly coaching calls, is to ask, what's a small victory? What victory did you have this week? For some of us, just getting an email blast out. For some folks, it's just getting back out in the world. I know folks have been sick, or they've been in the hospital, or they had surgery, or they've been down and out, and they just crawl out of bed in the morning. That is a victory for a lot of people in some cases. So celebrate the small victories. I got up, I went to work, I got something done. I went for one lap around the block. One lap is better than zero, ladies and gentlemen. It's the little things in life that lead to long-term success. And nobody is an expertise at anything they do instantly. It is a long journey. So keep that in mind when you're out there and you're thinking about what other people are doing. Hey, you realize Damon John once told me, Shark Tank, his success was an 8-year overnight success, 8 years before he got to where he was. Okay, so toot your own horn. All right. Don't be afraid to make some beautiful music and share what you're doing share what you're good at. Don't lie about it, because people can smell when you're bullshitting somebody out there a mile away. If you got something successful, you've got a stroke of genius, whether it's playing the trombone, playing the bones, or kicking ass and taking names at note or real estate investing, don't be afraid to toot your own horn. So guys, gals, go out, take advantage of some stuff. Go find you a sweet spot out there, whether it's beignets at Cafe du Monde or in Austin, Texas, or wherever it might be. Go out there, take advantage. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Add some spice to your life. And those are the biggest nuggets that we've taken away from FinCon 2023. So I'll leave it open for any questions now. Any comments, any concerns, feel free to ask, and I'm here to help answer any questions for you in the long run. All right. Anybody got any questions for tonight? Let's see here, nuggets. I'm just answering somebody here real fast. All right. Well, if there's no any other questions, ladies and gentlemen, then we'll get rocking and rolling here. Definitely glad to have you guys all here. It's been a great week. We got a lot of great stuff coming up. I ask you guys to stay tuned. As always, if you've got some feedback or something that you're working on or wanting me to discuss, hey, feel free to share. Feel free to reach out to me, talkwithscottcarson.com. Leave a message, and we'll definitely be glad to answer any questions or leave a video or create a special episode just for you. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. But go out, take some action, everybody, and we'll see you all at the top.